What's up, you guys? It's Z, and Faye is not here. So, as promised, go and look back at our previous video of our doing our hand molds. We were talking about investing in a cookbook and making recipes. Today, since I'm off, I wanted to try to make a new recipe and kind of surprise her with it. So I did invest in this cookbook by Cordarius Green. Um, I found him off TikTok. I don't know what his TikTok name is, but I'm pretty sure if you look it up on TikTok, you will be able to find it. And it's called Kitchen Culture, the New Southern Table. So I have already laid out all of the ingredients. Today, Faye has requested that we eat meatloaf and mashed potatoes and some green beans. He has meatloaf in this cookbook. And I'm not sure if I've ever made meatloaf. So this will be new for me. Okay, so in his book, he has Miss Alice's Down Home Meatloaf. So it calls for a good bit of ingredients and hopefully it is really good. So I'm going to try to match his recipe to the T. However, two things that I don't have is oregano and thyme. However, I do have a tomato paste with some oregano in it. So hopefully that kind of incorporates the flavor. And we'll just skip out on the thyme. First, I think what I'm going to end up doing is going ahead and putting the potatoes and having them boil, so that way I can go ahead and have that going while I'm getting the meatloaf together.
I'm not sure. Y'all may have seen me wear makeup in our engagement prank video, but I know for like all the other videos, I was not wearing makeup. But I'm going to try my hardest to look presentable, actually, on the rest of our videos.
The recipe for the mashed potatoes is not in the cookbook. It's another recipe that I found somewhere else. So I'm just kind of like freelancing that from memory. But I do remember that cook peel the potatoes and have them boil, and we'll figure out the rest. Let me wash my hands again.
Hopefully, my mic does not die this time because it died in our last video. So hopefully it doesn't do that. I may stop this video at some point and just double check, make sure that it's still good. But you don't know when it dies, and that's the sad part. Well, it has a light up here, a green light, so I guess if that goes off, maybe it's dead. But I did charge everything.
So for today, I think I'm only cook or boil 6 potatoes.
So I'm gonna get these out and then I'm gonna kind of shift these over so you guys can see what I'm doing.
I'm also going to go ahead and fill this pot up with water.
Go ahead and put this on the stove.
So what he ends up doing is cleaning and peeling the potatoes, and then he dices them up.
So that's what I'm gonna do now. And my chalkboard. I'll wash these off. I'm gonna just put these on the board. And then once I peel them, I will wash them off again.
Does anybody else, you guys can put in the comments, does anybody else eat mashed potatoes, but you do not eat baked potatoes? Baked potatoes at all. I don't know why. And when you go get a seafood boil and they have the potatoes in the bag, I think those are disgusting. They don't have any like flavor to them all by themselves. So I peeled all the potatoes. I'm going to cut up, dice the potatoes.
And I really do like these knives, you guys. They cut really, really good. Maybe those are good. No, they cut really good. They're called Aster Cook knives. The true test would probably be sweet potatoes, because you guys know sweet potatoes are super tough to cut through. So I think which in Corderis's cookbook, it does have a recipe for candy yams, and Faye likes candy yams. So I may do that recipe maybe for Thanksgiving or something. I'll put these in a bowl just to kind of get them out of my way. Yeah.
So I'm gonna rinse these two off and send them to the side because I'll need this for later.
Now I'm going to rinse these off.
You guys, I almost forgot. I went on Amazon and bought a strainer that you could attach to, I guess, any bowl, and I forgot about it. So that's what I'm gonna use. Y'all, if my potatoes fall out of here. So the potatoes are cleaned. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and add them pot with some salt.
Okay. I put a good amount of salt because it is still a good bit of water in here, and I want to make sure that the potatoes are seasoned. So I did put a good amount of salt.
I'm gonna set this to the side, and I'm gonna just cover this. It's time to get to the actual meatloaf part. So
let's see. We're going to need some ground beef, which I have, and also some ground pork, which I honestly have never seen in the store before. I was kind of confused. I mean, I've seen like Italian sausage, which I guess is just like sausage, but I don't know. I guess I've never like read like ground pork. I've heard of ground turkey and everything, but not ground pork. So, I'll need my onion, which I'm going to chop up. Finely chop. Faye and I do not like real onions really, so it calls for a whole onion, but I won't be chopping a whole onion. I'll probably do about a fourth or something and chop them up really good because we do not like onions like that. 2 large eggs, and y'all, I don't know where you guys are, but like I said, we're in Minnesota, so the eggs here at Walmart, they are, if you get the one in the blue pack, they're about $3.50 for a dozen right now. So we'll need some milk, 1/3 cup of milk. We'll need some panko breadcrumbs, some grated Parmesan cheese. Oh, I forgot to mention. So I did not have
3 garlic cloves minced. I've minced garlic.
So I think I'm just gonna do like 3 tablespoons. I don't know, would that be too much? I may do 3 teaspoons. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I did not want to just buy a thing of garlic, and I knew I wasn't gonna use it anymore. And then it also calls for some tomato paste. I have right here. Okay, so that is, I think, the bulk of what's gonna be needed. I don't know, y'all. I guess to like actually make the meatloaf itself. But then it says for the seasoning, the meatloaf seasoning, we'll need some parsley. I don't have time. And I don't have dried oregano, so let's get that. We need some salt and black pepper, which I have right here. And then, yeah, I think that's it for that. And then it has for the tomato sauce, which I'm assuming is the sauce that's going to be covering the meatloaf. I know, like, where I'm from back at home, we use ketchup, but we're not using ketchup. That calls for 1 can, 28 ounces, which let me make sure that this is okay. This big can is 28 ounces. And y'all, I did get no salt added because it already has like a lot of seasonings in it, and I'm trying to watch our sodium levels, so I did get no salt added for this. It also calls for 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, some more tomato paste, some Dijon mustard, which I never, I don't cook with Dijon mustard, so I just decided to get this one because it looked like authentic Dijon mustard. It also calls for some smoked paprika, which I already have, and there's something called liquid smoke, y'all, and I don't know, I've never heard of it before. So, yeah, this is a little new. Never heard of it, but that's what it called for. Some red pepper flakes, which I have right here, that I already had. Again, salt and black pepper. And it also called for Worcestershire. It also called for that sauce. So we'll be putting that in. And I also have some heavy whipping cream over here, and that'll be used for the mashed potatoes later. So I'm going to put this actually back in the fridge until I need it. The first thing it says is to preheat your oven to 375 degrees. And I have my bowl right here. I don't see that. I'm just going to dry this out really quick.
The second thing it says is to line a 9x5 loaf pan with parchment paper.
I forgot about it. And I hope that I'm doing this right, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna set this to the side. Okay, yeah.
Okay. So it says to combine the seasonings for the meatloaf in a large bowl.
So 3 tablespoons of fresh parsley. Yeah, I know I'm gonna end up making a mess. I'm trying to, actually do it right. I feel like that's a lot of parsley. I haven't done more. I feel like that is a lot of parsley. Alright. I hope this tastes good. I'm gonna have Faye, it's gonna be like a surprise to her, and then I'll have her eat it and show y'all what she thinks about it. And then I need 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. I'm not gonna make this super spicy. I'm gonna just throw it over here. Okay. It's kind of hard doing the seasoning when they're in a oh, I guess I could have did it like that. Oh. I don't know. Anyway, I have a teaspoon of salt, which of course I don't have. I'm kind of scared because I don't want to waste salt. Y'all know that's superstition. Alright. Okay, and then it calls for a half teaspoon of black pepper. Okay. Yeah, I promise it doesn't look like a lot of seasoning. I'm gonna stir this. So the next thing it says is to add the ground meat to the seasoning and make sure blending until a uniform consistency is achieved. And then we'll add the other stuff to the blend. Blend this all up. I think I'm gonna go ahead and chop up the onion. Okay. I think I got all of that. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut this onion. Okay, I'm not gonna cut it that much. I don't know if McDonald's still does this, but do you remember going to McDonald's and getting a cheeseburger or if it was in the kids' meal, but it came with those diced onions. Do they still do that? I haven't had one of those burgers in a good while. And even when I was eating McDonald's, I still never got that burger. Um, but I used to hate those little onions on it. I used to hate those little onions, and I would hate when they would forget to take them off, or my parents forgot to order it without the onions, so I had to scrape it off.
So I have my onions done. So it says to split, introduce the chopped onions, eggs, milk, cheese, breadcrumbs, garlic, I'm sorry, and tomato paste. So
Got the onions and 2 eggs. Yeah, I don't know why did I even crack it like that? And my left hand is at my hand with control of milk. Okay. I'm sorry. I always get scared when I have to add liquid to meat. The cheese. So it called for 1/2 cup of the. Like I said, with the garlic, I'm gonna end up doing. Let's see. Ooh, I'm gonna just do 3 of those. Ooh, now let's say. And then with the breadcrumbs, that was 3/4 cup. Ooh, yeah, that garlic. Okay, so then it says to stir well.
So this is how our mixture looks.
Okay, so now I'm going to get my dish. And it says to just transfer. There it is. Now, I don't think that you have to add like anything because the sausage and stuff is gonna create, and the beef is gonna create its own oil all by itself. Okay, y'all. So I have put it all in there. So I think that you leave this uncovered. I guess, of course. The oven has been heating, so it should be good to go. And it says to put this in for 45 to 50 minutes or until the internal temperature is 160. So I'm going to set a timer and plop this in. I think I'm just going to do it for, maybe just go ahead and do it for 50. Or maybe I'll do it for 47. Just 2 extra minutes. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the potatoes, get the potatoes out of the pot. I don't. I just washed my dishes also. And y'all, I'm just gonna be free eyeing this. I just think I want to mash these up though first. And y'all, I did own actual masher, but I think I left it back in South Carolina. I highly doubt that I have it. But I know I did have one. I'd have given it to my sister. I'm just going to take this and have it mashed in. They're very soft. Okay. I'm going to add in my salt, pepper. I don't eat that. I've never gotten this kind of sour cream, so. I'll just do a little bit of this.
There's potatoes. So I'm just gonna cover my bowl with its lid and sit this just off to the side. So next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and get the green beans on.
It's just a regular can of green beans, y'all. I don't do too much with them. When we were back home, we used to eat the really good ones. The Italian cut, the season from Glory. Those things are so good. But again, I'll put back a little bit with the sodium. Okay, guys. So I got the green beans on and cooking. Lid on this. So next, while the meatloaf is in the oven, I'm gonna go ahead and prepare the tomato-based sauce that goes on the top of the meatloaf.
I'm going to actually be using this pan. I'll just assemble in here. So it says to combine the crushed tomato.
And we mix everything. And y'all, I will be doing something a little different to this. I'm gonna be adding some sugar because the acidity of tomatoes is very strong to my stomach. And this is a lot of tomato stuff, so I will be adding a little sugar to kind of cut down the acidity for me. Okay, tomato paste. I didn't realize how many cans I had. Called for 1/4 cup.
And then we need the Worcestershire sauce, the liquid smoke, the Dijon mustard, paprika, all of these things.
Okay, so 2 tablespoons. No, hold on. Let me do 2 tablespoons of brown sugar first. Well, I may not add any. I may not add any cane sugar, white cane sugar, because this has brown sugar in it. So that may. I'm gonna do a little more. That may cut down the acidity for me. The Dijon mustard is 1 tablespoon. Smells like honey mustard. 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. a teaspoon of crushed red pepper. And let me open this, y'all.
Ooh, y'all. I messed that up. Ooh. Okay. We're it said 1/4. Y'all. Oh well, we're just gonna have to have a little spicy. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna add the smoked paprika. I'm not I hope they still will eat this. It's gonna be spicy.
1/4. I thought I was gonna add just a little bit. Yeah, that's what I get. I cannot read. Black pepper. And then the liquid smoke. 1/4. No. Yeah, I can't read. 1 teaspoon of liquid smoke. Y'all, and what if this stuff is okay? Oh. But it would have called for the smoked paprika, but since I've just added 4 times what I was supposed to with the red pepper flakes. That's it for this. Yes, I believe that's it. So I'm just gonna stir all of this up, and I'll set it on the stove. The sauce is on the stove, and it's supposed to come to a simmer over medium heat. So I'll let it do that. The meatloaf still has about 17 minutes left on it, and then I'll check it and see if it needs some more time. But it says that once the meatloaf is cooked, to brush the top with 1/2 of the prepared tomato sauce and return it to the oven for an additional 10 minutes, allowing the sauce to glaze and caramelize, and then slice the meatloaf and serve it with the rest of the remaining sauce on the side. So
Okay, guys. So I'm gonna try to take the meatloaf out. So I decided to move the camera. So over here, I'm going to brush the sauce on the meatloaf.
I'm kind of putting like a little thick layer on, just so that when we get it, it has a good layer. Yeah, still may put a little, another one on. Okay, so I'm gonna put this back in the oven for 10 minutes.
Okay, y'all. So face. Okay, you guys. It's Z.
And Faye.
And we are back
with another video.
Well, I already started the video, but Faye
She got me on here looking bad as y'all. You looking real bad right now. I just got off work.
Yeah, she just got off work. So she just tried the mashed potatoes and
They are good.
almost
You saw them by cookbook?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She almost ate the whole bowl. So I have to get the meatloaf. She's still wanting to drink up my juice. She asked me for water today. She didn't ask me for juice.
I wasn't thinking nothing of it.
Oh. So anyway, guys, yeah, so I'm about to go ahead and take out the meatloaf. And we're gonna see what it's looking like. Those should be warm. What? They're kind of cold. But they should be hot.
Yeah, yo.
Those are the mashed potatoes.
Alright, let's go and see what we got.
Are you like to green beans?
Yeah. You gonna put some roast on it?
You say you got one bread.
I did, you right. Yeah, I didn't put no chicken in there, boy.
You didn't do what?
I didn't put no chicken in that refrigerator.
I know you didn't.
You don't mind me getting a little bit, dude. I'm gonna still drink my water. It's not a job, I didn't eat it. That's hot.
Okay, you guys, so this
Some meatloaf.
is the meatloaf. Okay, let's see.
These damn potatoes are bush.
Okay, y'all, moment of truth. It's all for you.
The potatoes are good.
You don't need no knife for that.
I'm gonna grab with my hand.
No, you could just use your fork.
I'm taking green bean. Oh, they're good too. Moment of truth with this meatloaf, y'all. Hold on. Trying to get the sauce.
Yeah. You like the sauce?
It's some good meatloaf, y'all.
Okay, y'all. So
Wow.
that concludes our video. They love this meatloaf.
It's good.
So-
Girl, meatloaf now.
So, we'll try to make this a thing, and try to cook something at least once a week, something new once a week out of the cookbook. And if we acquire more cookbooks, we'll definitely let y'all know and post those recipes. Bye, y'all.
I love being your love. I'm trying to show you up. You up. She really the A-list girl. She really my favorite girl.